So this is the final talk of the day. So well done everyone for making it through the day. Pleasure. So just to make sure that people have connected, so Johnny, Houston, and Asamoah. I can see Asamoah, you're there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. Okay, so let me introduce Johnny Houston and Asamoah and Nkwanta. So Dr. Johnny Houston.
No. Yes, but what I'd like to do is have the honor of having the privilege of introducing the president of the National Association of Mathematicians, Dr. Asamoah Nkwanta. He will speak first, and then I will speak after him.
Okay,
so
great.
We want to go to Dr. Asamoah Nkwanta. He is the President and Chief Executive Officer of NAM. He is a professor at Morgan State University in the United States. And he has gone through HBCUs and PWIs, and he has had a tremendous impact on the mathematical sciences community, and he was chosen to be the current 10th president of NAM. So I'd like for the group to accept Dr. Asamoah Nkwanta. Dr. Nkwanta.
Well, thank you, Dr. Houston. And first, I'd like to just thank Nair Chamberlain and the London Math Society for giving us an opportunity to share our experiences during this fabulous celebration. Also, I just want to thank all of the speakers who presented and are part of this celebration with your fine talks and your informative information that you shared with us. The Black History of Mathematics Conference is one that we just learned about. I just learned about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago from the American Math Society here in the States. And we jumped right on it and reached out to you guys. And you guys were nice enough to give us a platform in your conference, as well as we apologize for not being able to be there in person. With all of the other travel arrangements that we were trying to do over the last 2 or 3 weeks, it was just a real tight schedule. But as I'll mention in my remarks, that there may be some future collaboration in the making. So yes, I'm Asamoah Nkwanta. I'm chair of the math department at Morgan State University in Baltimore, not far from Johns Hopkins, as well as the current president and CEO of the National Association of Mathematicians. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the NAM, as it's known, and I want to try to share my screen. I hope this works out fine.
By the way, Asamoah, just so Luke here, the chair of the session, just to let you know, I guess you would like to leave some room for questions at the end.
Yes.
I was thinking 10 minutes. How does that sound to you?
That sounds more than enough time for me. I'm trying. Do you see the screen? My presentation?
Not yet.
Not yet. Let me see. So should I click on Windows or entire screen to share? Let's see.
I think maybe it's sometimes easier clicking entire screen and then dragging your your presentation to your main screen.
Okay, let's try that. Do you see anything yet? My PowerPoint.
Not yet. I think so. Under entire screen, and then application windows. Under application windows. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I think you've got it.
So you shared screen. We just need to see the slides.
Do you see them now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, they're there now.
Okay. 2025 technology. Thank you so much again. I'm going to give a quick overview of NAM as well as make some remarks with regards to our celebration here in the States. So NAM was founded in 1969, and it's a nonprofit organization that has a critical role in the math community here in the United States in terms of education, service, and research. Our mission is to promote excellence in the mathematical sciences and to promote the mathematical development of underrepresented American minorities. There's a website link there that you can go to find more information about our membership, our donations, the newsletter, our events, our advertisements, history of the organization, and you can actually nominate future speakers at our events. Here is a list of our current board of directors, and you can see we have individuals from academic institutions, individuals from HBCUs, individuals from non-HBCUs, individuals from higher education, community colleges, and industry. So it's a very diverse board. And we have signature events, and one of them is joint with the American Math Society, and we participate in their conference. And one of our signature events is the Cox-Talbot Address, and we also have the Claytor-Woodard Lecture. Claytor and Woodard were mentioned in the previous talk, and then we have a talk in honor of the first 3 African-American females to get PhDs in mathematics and Hayes, and in the United States, African-Americans, Hayes, Granville, and Brown. And we have a session for our new PhDs. And this picture here was from the Seattle conference, where we are partnered with the American Math Society. And we're actually doing a ribbon cutting of the opening of the conference with the AMS president and presidents from other organizations and other math societies. The Cox-Talbot Address given last year was given by Dr. Omaira Ortega, the former president of NAM at Asamoah State, and she talked about who is the conscious of AI. AI is a big topic, as we all know. And then our Claytor-Woodard lecture was given by a very young up-and-coming mathematician, Dr. Tanai Danae Bradley, and she's in industry, and she linked language modeling and category theory to an area that's not really connected to machine learning and algorithms. And her talk was on a Saturday morning, the last day of the conference, and the classroom was completely, not the classroom, but the auditorium was completely full. So if you get a chance, she's someone I would highly recommend for your conferences. We also have the new PhD session. These are new PhDs, and they're given an opportunity to present their dissertation topics. And we have anywhere from maybe 4 to 8, maybe 10 lectures. And the lectures are judged, and they will, whoever is the winner will receive a prize from NAM. Also at this JMM, we also showed the film. I don't know if you've heard of Journeys of Black Mathematicians, but we premiered part 2, which was Pathways. And this particular film, Dr. Houston may say a little bit more about that later, but this film is a 2-part series that was created in collaboration with NAM, and Dr. Houston was one of the key consultants on the film. And many of the presenters in the film are current and former NAM members. Not all, but many of them are. And they pretty much talk about their stories and their journey. And this film has also been launched on PBS. It's also been shown at various institutions. This is a flyer where it was shown at my institution, and this was the first part 1 called Forging Resilience. We also have another event called the Faculty Conference on Research and Teaching Excellence. This is the faculty conference, and it was held at Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, New York. And the lecture is named in honor of Albert Turner Baruka Reed. This is a conference where the faculty members and industry experts come together, and they can give talks about their research, about pedagogy, about new topics in the field, about algorithms, whatever they would like to share with the audience. So this is a faculty component. Last year lecture was Dr. Dwayne Cooper, Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, HBCU, and he talked about the mathematics and multi-member politicking districts. A very interesting talk for the times we are in today with politics and redlining and all that kind of stuff. Then we have another signature event that's partnered with the Math Association of America at their Math Fest, and we have the David Blackwell lecture. And this year's lecture was Dr. Talitha Washington. You may know of her. She was one of the key organizers of the Cox celebration that we did just this past weekend at Howard University. And what she talked about was 100 years of inspiration, Elbert Frank Cox, and the future of mathematics. So 2 of our partners with signature events, and then we have our faculty conference. And we also showed the journeys of Black mathematicians creating pathways at that particular conference as well. We had a good number of high school students that participated and came to that particular showing. Actually, the one in Seattle is where we had a lot of high school kids come. Now our student signature event is NAM's undergraduate Math Fest. And in this particular conference, we have students from all over the country, primarily from HBCUs, but not necessarily all of the student presenters are from HBCUs. They could be from universities that are not HBCUs, and they could also be international. And we provide support when we have it for the students to participate. And this conference, we usually have anywhere from 50 to 120 students, but within the last 3 or 4 years, the numbers have been in the hundreds. And this in 2024, our conference was at Prairie View A&M University in Texas. And then this year, our conference will be at Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee. And the name lecture is after J. Ernest Wilkins, Jr., another prominent African-American mathematician, and Dr. Nolan McMurray, Dean and mathematician at Tennessee State, will give a talk there to inspire students. So this is our student conference. And now that leads me to some remarks I want to make about Elbert Frank Cox, this Black American broke barriers in 1925 by becoming the first Black person in the world to earn a PhD in mathematics. We honor Dr. Cox during the 100th anniversary of his achievement this year in 2025. This is a significant milestone that the mathematics community, including the National Association of Mathematics, is celebrating, as well as you guys in London. NAMS honors Cox's legacy through the NAMS annual Cox Talbot Address, established in 1990. Talbot is Dr. Walter Richard Talbot, one of the 17 co-founders of NAM and the fourth African-American to earn a PhD in mathematics. The mission of NAM aligns with the recognizing pioneers like Cox, who provided inspiration and opened doors for countless mathematicians from underrepresented backgrounds. NAM's mission is to promote, I think I've said this, promote excellence in the mathematical sciences and promote the mathematical development. The first Cox Talbot Address was in 1980, given by J. Arthur Jones, entitled Blacks in Science, a Growing National Crisis. That title could fit very well today in 2025. And I did like this particular quote here that Cox had applied to Cornell, and this was mentioned in a letter from I believe one of his Indiana professors, but there was a prediction that he would develop into a man of whom the American mathematical world may be justly proud. And that was so accurate for December of 1921. And I just want to, as I'm about to close, I just want to say, here's how NAM has honored Cox throughout the year. We started with the joint math meeting in Seattle with a special session called The Legacy of Elbert Frank Cox, first African-American PhD in mathematics. We showed the Zala film documentary, part 1, Forging Resilience at Morgan State University, which I mentioned. We displayed a portrait of Cox for the first time, and I'll show you that a little later in my presentation. There's another conference called the Conference for African American Researchers in the Mathematical Sciences, which is an annual conference of research talks. And this was held at Cox PhD Institution at Cornell. Then at the MAA, the Math Association of American Math Fest, held in Sacramento, we had another special session called Breaking Barriers, honoring the legacy of Elbert Frank Cox. And then we had the Howard celebration, the Cox Centennial celebration of the first African-American at Howard a few days ago. And we're honoring Cox today as well. And we will be submitting a proposal to put together a conference proceedings. And if any of the speakers in this session want to be a part of that, you're welcome to be a part of that. Also, this is my last slide, that at the Howard University Centennial Celebration of Cox, NAM presented Elbert Frank Cox the 2025 NAM Centennial Award. It was presented to his son, who's 92 years old, Elbert Lucen Cox Sr., and NAM also gave Elbert Frank Cox a NAM proclamation. So these were things we were doing and throughout the year, and a little bit information about Cox. So I think I'm going to transition to Dr. Houston here. Should I should stop sharing?
No, I tell
How
you
do you
what,
want me to
Doctor.
proceed?
What I want you to do is just let me come in, and I will do that with them. If because I just got transitioned off the screen for a second, I got to get right back on.
Also, I need to see if you sent me your slides.
Yeah, you don't need those.
Oh, okay. So I should just stay right where I'm at?
Yes.
Okay.
So before that, I can introduce you, Johnny, if you want. I have your bio here if you want me to do it.
Please do introduce him. He's a trailblazer over here, and it would be good for him to have a proper introduction.
So I had an introduction for you as well, but I think Johnny had the initiative to introduce you.
It's fine.
No, it's all good. It's great. Okay, so Dr. Johnny Houston is a mathematician, education administrator, and research director. He obtained a BA in mathematics at Morehouse College and a master's degree in mathematics from Atlanta University, and then earned a PhD in mathematics from Purdue University. So Johnny has held numerous academic and administrative positions, many of which it'll take a lot of time to name them all, but these include chair of the Atlanta University of Math and Computer Science Department, and vice chancellor of academic affairs and professor of math and computer science at Elizabeth City State University, so ECSU. He is the co-founder of the National Association of Mathematicians, as Asamoah mentioned now. He has received several awards and honors, including the Purdue University BCC Pioneer Award in 2009, and being featured in Who's Who in America, amongst many other highlights and awards. So I think, Johnny, the floor's yours.
Thank you very kindly. I thank you very kindly for that very kind introduction. And I'm trying to, Dr. Nkwanta.
Yes.
Your slides are still up there, right?
Okay. Yes, I should stop sharing.
You can leave them there, I guess. Leave them up there, and I will use them for a little while.
Okay, go ahead. Well, okay, go ahead then. Yes.
Okay, just go back to
where do you want me to go?
To the very top.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention this, but I'll come back to that. Go back to the beginning.
Yes. Well, it might be easier for us to do this. It might be easier. Can Professor Nira, is it possible that we could pull up a NAM's website there?
Asamoah, if you just stop sharing your screen.
Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay.
We're working on it, Johnny.
On NAM's website, in the left corner, you will see a column that says has About Us in there.
About us.
Yep.
And then under About Us, you'll see History.
One down. Yeah, there you go.
And then you see Passing the Torch as the first item under History.
Are you still there, Johnny?
Did we lose
Yes.
Johnny?
I'm trying to see, did you lose or something happened to my screen? I don't know what happened. Just 1 second. I think I know how to get it back. Okay. Okay, thank you. I see that now. But I can't control it from yours. But let's just do the following if you could assist me, Professor Nera.
Okay.
Now, what NAM has done over the years is that we started the organization, page 1 is fine for right now. We started the organization in 1969. During that year, Professor Cox was still alive and when we started the organization. But what happened was we started in the month of January, and then in the month of November, unfortunately, we lost Professor Cox. But he was the inspiration for our starting this. And what we wanted to do is to tell his story to everyone we could so that we would do 3 things. One is we wanted to promote excellence in the mathematical sciences, especially for minorities and people who came from the African diaspora. The second thing we wanted to do was to make sure that we knew who was out there and to honor those who had paid their due, and so that other people will know the great impact that they had made in this journey of persons developing the mathematical sciences, especially those from the African diaspora, so that they could use that as inspiration and motivation and to pursue their own success story. And I was so happy to be on today with all of these persons who have shown their success story and also who have related to so many other people there in the process. Now, if you will go to page 2 on that screen for us. On page 2, what it shows here is that we actually had 3 inspirations to happen to get NAM off on his feet. And it started in January 1969. One is I was teaching mathematics one evening on April 4th, 1968. And I got the news that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had been killed. And we stopped teaching mathematics and did some other things in the class. And then I knew that Dr. Cox had retired. And he was the first Black person in the world, and we had done the research to document that, to earn a PhD in mathematics. And we were not permitted to be full participants in the joint math meeting that was being conducted by the American Mathematical Society and MAA. They would not permit us to be speakers. They would not permit us to be on committees. In fact, we could not even get hotels where the conference was being held each year. And we raised the question. We knew that segregation and racial aspects were in play in America and other places around the world, but we said we should not take this. The mathematics we are doing and the contribution we're making are very strong, and they're helping us change the world like others. So a group of us got together and we decided we're going to do something. There were 17 of us, and that we're going to do something in honor of King, in honor of Dr. Cox, and for the future generations to make sure that diversity, equity, and inclusivity will be a part of mathematics in every aspect, from elementary school, high school, college, university, and in industrial complex. And there were 17 of us that you see the names on that page there. And you see the eternal flame on the left was in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And the 17 of us decided that we would make sure that we would change things during our generation. And I had the opportunity to go to Tanzania, where they have Kwanzaa, where they have the language that we call Kwanzaa that's written in their language. And they have something called Kujachakalia. And Kujachakalia is self-determination. And we decided that the racial climate of this country and that the positions of the mathematical sciences organizations that were in charge of JMM and the society would not determine our expressing our mathematics, our promoting others to do mathematics well, and that we would make sure that our legacy would be to give everybody a chance to be the kind of person that they wanted to be in the mathematical sciences community, especially persons who were mathematicians of the African diaspora. And you'll see there, if you will go, and we raised the question, if we didn't do this now, who would? And if we didn't do it now, when would it be done? And so we decided to establish the National Association of Mathematicians. Now, if you go to the next page for us, here are 12 of the 17 people that were there who helped to form NAM back in January 1969. And some of the names many of you know, some of the names you have dealt with, and some of them you have not, but all of them were minorities within the United States, and they were not being given a fair break at sharing their mathematics with the larger community. And we decided we were going to change it. Now, if you go to the next page, please. We decided to make NAM one of the strongest mathematical sciences organization that they would have in the United States. And we would organize in such a way that we could communicate with all kind of persons and all the people who want to do math. Some person suggested that we should go off to ourselves and do what we were doing. We said, no, that could not be acceptable, because we're asking them for diversity, equity, inclusivity. And so we will meet with them in our national meeting each year in January at the JMM. And we will meet with them in the MAA Math Fest summer meeting in the summer, so that they could see the talents that we would bring there, and we could see the talents they're bringing there, and we could sit around the same table in so many other different events. Now, Dr. Nkwanta has talked about some of the things that we're doing there and some of our signature programs. But what I want you to look at is that once NAM got started, we decided that we wanted the whole mathematical sciences community to be familiar with Black mathematicians who had done excellence. And so in 1980, we created what we call the Clater Dudley Woodard Lecture, which is a research lecture each time. These men had done outstanding work at outstanding university, and they had been recognized by the few who knew them. And each year from 1980, we have had this lecture at the JMM, so people would know that we are honoring Black mathematicians, and we're asking them to give the same tribute because they were worthy for the kind of work and great thing they've done. At that same conference in January, JMM, we organized what we call the Elbert Cox Walter R. Talbot Address. Now, what we did for this, and this happens every year too at the JMM, and we're getting a sizable number of persons from all aspects of community, as Dr. Nkwanta talked about, who are coming to hear people at our lectures and coming to know many of the Black heroes of mathematics that earlier they had dismissed. And we didn't stop with just those four at our national meeting. We also, as Dr. Nkwanta mentioned, we took the first 3 Black ladies who got PhDs in mathematics and came up with a session in their name. They were not only great mathematicians, they were also great educators. So we named a presentation section after them. We wanted the young person who was just getting their PhD degrees to come and present to NAM and to the JMM their work and be able to see the kinds of person who had inspired them and others. So you see there, are you on the same page? Would you go to the next page, please? Right there. Thank you. Yes. We wanted them to know about Black heroes in mathematics, great scientists that they can emulate just like they could other scientists that they had encountered. And so this happens every year in January at our national meeting. This is a group that Dr. Nkwanta talked about, of some young people who had just received their PhD degrees, and they came and presented to us their work. And we also give them a prize, like Dr. Nkwanta talked about, and how we share with them. In addition to our national meeting, each year we have a teaching excellence award, because Dr. Cox and all of these earlier mathematicians were great teachers as well. And so we give a teaching award, and these 2 persons here, it was amazing how many people, they got the inspiration from Dr. Cox, and then they went ahead and started trying to help empower and help so many others to get their doctorate, that we thought they should be honored for their excellent teachers. For example, Dr. Clarence Stevens here, he taught in such a way that he was chairman of a department, both an HBCU first and then a PWI. And 1 year in this country, his department in mathematics produced more math majors than any other university or college in this country. And Dr. Shabazz, teaching at Clark Atlanta University, he produced so many persons with the master's level who went ahead and got PhD degrees that people needed to know not only about their scholarship, but their teaching excellence. So go to the next page, please. Those were the students at the top who presented at one of the Haynes, Granville, Brown lectures, and there are the faces of Dr. Clarence Stevens, and Dr. Shabazz that we named the teaching lecture after. Now, if you will notice, Dr. Nkwanta told you about our signature programs. Every signature program, the next page, please. Every signature program, we named it after an outstanding mathematician of the African diaspora. Albert Turner Barucha Reed. He is the one we have at our faculty conference where we have a lecture in his name. And you will see down at the bottom, we also have in our summer David Blackwell lecture, Blackwell to the left, and they allowed me to give the Blackwell address at one time. I'm in the middle. And to the picture to the right, we were having NAM 50th anniversary. And one of NAM's past presidents, who have also been over to speak at your conference, Dr. Ed Ray Goin, myself, and then there's Dr. Sylvia Bozeman and NAM's past president, Dr. O'Mara. And so we wanted people to know folks who were doing things that could serve as an example. And let us go to the next page, please. Now, I had the distinct pleasure of being able to notice that Dr. J. Ernest Wilkins, who was the 8th person to get a PhD in mathematics, African American, he would come by our conference and say, I want to see how the young people are doing, our Math Fest conference. So we named the presentation in honor of him at our Math Fest conference that we have each year. We started the conference in 1991 for Math Fest. It's for undergraduate Math Fest. And this year, this month, we're having our 35th annual conference of Math Fest, in which at Math Fest, we honor Dr. Wilkins, and at Math Fest, we bring in a budding, growing new mathematicians who is there to give them an inspiring lecture in the spirit of Dr. Cox and Dr. Wilkins. If you will see there, here's the kind of crowd of people we have at Math Fest. And as Dr. Nkwanta was saying, we are having at least 100 every year. And these are undergraduate students that we are trying to inspire and empower them to continue to go ahead to become promising mathematicians that they have indicated. Now, I'd like for you to go to the next page, please. In the next page, we decided to record our history so that our history would not be eradicated by people telling things they did not know about it and did not do well with it. So we went through and recorded things that occurred each decade. Go to the next page, please. And so that the young mathematicians who are 40 or under, and mathematicians such as myself who are beyond 75, we did not have to wonder who was in the gap between us. They could go back and find out. And we were privileged to have in this process of all these persons, we had 3 presidents of NAM that led NAM for 10 years, a decade. Go to the next slide, please. The next page. Okay, right there. Roger Newman was the first president who served for 10 years as NAM president, and he helped us to get a solid foundation and fill the gap to be able to lay a solid foundation for the next generation. Next page, please. There was John Alexander, we call him Jack Alexander. He served as NAM president for 10 years. And many of the programs and activities that we are talking about now as our signature programs, etc., he is the one who helped us to develop them and get them on solid ground. Next page, please. The third president who served NAM for 10 years was Nathaniel Dean. Nathaniel Dean worked for 10 years in industry. He worked at a PWI. He had 5 students who earned PhDs under him, and he worked at an HBCU. And he did a lot for helping us to get more cohesive cooperation from the entire science community to go forward and to put NAM on the map as being a organization that you must talk to if you're going to talk about mathematics in the 21st century. Next page, please. There you will see, we talked about some of the other presidents. We just talked about Dr. Edric Goin, who is our 8th president, who's been over to talk at your conference, and Dr. Omar Ortega, who's the 9th. And now you've had the honor of hearing our 10th president, who was Dr. Nkwanta. Next page, please. I had the privilege of serving as NAM first executive director. And in this process, I decided that we must preserve all of this information for future generations, and that we must eventually archive it in such a way that people will not have to dig through hundreds of pages just to find a little information about Black mathematicians. And so if you go to the next page, please. At the next page, we just showing you some of the people here that we highlighted along the way as some of the most outstanding persons who contributed to NAM and the mathematical sciences community, etc. And we wanted people to know them. We wanted, especially the youth of our time, to know who these people were, and to be able to, if they wanted to find some heroes in mathematics, we wanted to let them know not only did they exist, but they were excellent heroes. And if you would notice, what our aim was trying to let them know that they did not have to be like I was. I went to school and got all the way. It was only at the graduate level that I saw the first Black mathematician and was taught by one at the graduate level. And we wanted them to know that they exist all over. They were doing great works. And so as Dr. Nkwanta talked about it, we have begun to preserve all of this information. If you go to the last page, please. On the last page, I want you to go there, not to see my picture, but I want you to look at the last name that was on the reference list. Black mathematicians and their work. There was a mathematician named Dr. Virginia Newell, and she wrote the first book that seriously talked about Black mathematicians in 1980, as NAM was beginning to move forward. Unfortunately, this year, I attended her memorial. She had reached the age of 105 years old, but her mind was still as sharp as it was when I knew her many years ago. So she was another one who was inspired by Cox and inspired to let us to go forward and do what we need to do. Now, in the year of Cox, the centennial year of his iconic achievement at Cornell in 1975, there's an article coming out in the American Mathematical Society notices that talk about Cox and talk about his life, his work, and his contributions. There was not enough space given to talk about it all, but we want to make sure the notices of the American Mathematical Society is in the hand of more than 1 million people and around the world. And we wanted them to know the importance of Cox.
Hello, Johnny.
And inclusivity. And I thank you.
Thank you very much, Johnny.
I will take questions from anyone if there's time.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Johnny and Asamoah, for this great talk, and I guess forming a connection between London and US. So it's really great. I mean, also Naira is here to. So can you see Naira? Can you see us?
Right.
Yes, yes.
Very good to meet you virtually. I know we've been having some conversations, and so what we're going to do is Luke is, like I said, the chair of this conference, and I'm the chair of the organising committee. So we're going to run this Q&A together. Yeah. So one of the first things that I'm going to talk about is, and thank you for that presentation. Was I noticed that one of the people that you had on your list was Rudy Horn, and though I know this is very much African American, but Rudy Horn was a friend of mine, and he actually inspired me to pursue a PhD in mathematics when he came to a conference in Scotland one time. He came to me, he asked me, did I know of a certain organisation called the Congress of African American Research Mathematicians in Mathematical Sciences, and I said no. And he says, well, he said this to me, he said, somebody of your passion and enthusiasm should do a PhD in mathematics. And so that, that inspired me onto the road to do a PhD in mathematics. And, we was in email contact up until, unfortunately, about a couple of months before he had sadly passed away. So I can actually see, names that I know there. And certainly, I think one of your board members is Aris Wenger. Yeah, he gave a talk. I think it was actually when he was in Edinburgh, 2022, and yeah, he was very good to see there. So we have overlaps and we have connections. So the question I pose to you here is, how can we NAM and the Black Heroes of Mathematics, how can we collaborate much closer moving forward?
Repeat that question slowly, please.
Right, no problems.
The British accent.
The British accent, okay. All right, so how, have you got some ideas of how NAM and the Black Heroes of Mathematics could collaborate in the future?
Well, one of the things that we are doing is in NAM we're preserving history. We have, during this year of Cox, we call the centennial year of Cox iconic achievement. We have gotten a depository at the Atlanta University Center Woodruff Library, and we are putting in there, we will have information about, in 2026, we will have information in there about at least 200 Black mathematicians. The film that Dr. Nkwanta mentioned, we have taken the film and put on film over 50 mathematicians who are active in lists and who are active now. And in that depository, there will be an archive that one can reach online all around the world. And you can get the 100 or 200 Black mathematicians that have done some very marvelous things here. And not only can you do that, but we're inviting people of any mathematician of the African diasporas to also join us as an organization, as a member. We put out a newsletter each quarter, and we are putting this information online, and we'll put your information online and in our newsletter, and we will come to your conferences as we invite you to come to ours. I have been to at least 4 conferences in Africa. In fact, Professor Adarimi Okuku in Nigeria was one of my great friends. And
I think we, Houston, are you there?
While he's trying to get reconnected, I would point out, we're gonna submit a proposal to the AMS for proceedings for the Cox celebration, and a start of collaboration could be maybe if a few individuals from this conference want to submit papers to that particular proceedings, as well as in 2026 will be the ICM in the International Congress of Mathematicians will be in Philadelphia. And if anyone from your organization is present, we could maybe, we don't have to wait until then, but that might be a venue where we could collaborate to some degree. We put in a proposal to show the films Journeys of Black Mathematicians, and we could invite Naira or someone from your organization to be on that panel if we're funded to be on a panel. So there are some ways we could, and again, we could set up Zoom meetings. One thing about COVID, it taught the math community how to communicate online, basically the whole world. And so, yeah, these are just some starting ideas that I have. And one thing about NAM is our reach has not been kind of global. And one of my vision was to expand NAM's membership into the international membership, which we were working on.
So how does WHAM sound? So the World Association of Mathematics.
Certainly has impact.
Sounds great.
Well, I mean, just following up on that, one of the things that we have is that we do have global reach. Just give you, and we'll give you one example, is not last year, but the year before, we contacted an organization which is Black female mathematicians in Brazil, and they've got a big network there, and it's a very thriving network of Black female mathematicians in Brazil. And the speaker there, she was name, can't remember her name at this present moment, but again, that's something that we can actually connect you to, as well as we also have connections to AIMS in Africa. Yeah, so again, that's also, you know, we have actually a strong connection to AIMS, and also we are developing our links to the French-speaking countries, Black mathematicians in the French-speaking countries. So this is something that we can actually bring to the table if you have interest.
This is true. I've been to Brazil, and in fact, I've had the privilege to be to 25 countries in Africa, as well as all over Europe. And we try to connect everywhere we can with mathematicians, especially of the African diasporas, to make sure that they know we exist, what resources we have, and we try to help them in any way we can. And this is why we are putting this online archive that will be free. And you can see people in the movies we've done. You'll be able to read about their legacy and their activities. And we are open to coming to you, and we ask you to come to us.
Yeah, well, happy with that. Happy with that. Luke, you got any further question?
Yeah, so I guess so first, yeah, thanks, Johnny and Asamoah. So any questions from the audience, just to just because we have some, I guess, young Black mathematicians in the audience, how they feel about everything. I mean,
yeah. So this document that's going live, you said in 2026, it's 200 Black mathematicians, is that right?
Yeah. We're just
Yeah.
so a young, you know, young, the voice of the youth.
Yeah. So just to make sure I heard you, it's 200 Black mathematicians. Information about them is going live in 2026. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely. It's that's really great to hear, because you know, when I try to dig for some things to, you know, present to some of the students that I talk to, this would be like super helpful. We've tried to do some stuff, but finding the history of Black mathematicians sometimes is a little finicky. I think we've already had talks about how sometimes the information is sparse. So if there's at least one place to start, that's super helpful for us. And there's one other thing. Well, when is ICM? When is it happening? Do you know?
Yeah.
It's in August of 1926, I believe. But
Well,
we will send that info.
I think he's asking about the International Congress of Mathematicians. Is that your question? It will be July 2026. It's a 4-year conference. The major mathematicians throughout the world will be presenting field medal winners, et cetera. And as a young mathematician myself, I've always wanted to attend that particular conference, but I never have the funds. And so it's kind of in America this year, not far from Baltimore. So we're going to really get our students involved and our faculty, you know, in the area. And so yes, you can apply for travel grants. I think they're still open. There you can find that on information on the website, International Congress of Mathematicians.
Yeah, ICM 2026.
Lovely.
And it is a great conference to go to. Dr. Jim Donaldson and I went to one in Kyoto, Japan once. And Dr. Adiremi Nkuku and I went to one in Beijing, China. And Dr. Blackwell and I went to one in California when it was in America once before. It's a fascinating place to be among some of the best minds in mathematics. And you can get a chance to present there too.
And you talked about Edre Goins. Last time there was the ICM, it was, I think it was supposed to be in Russia, but Russia was doing something crazy at the time, so they moved it to Finland, and it was done online, and so I had the pleasure of jointly presenting with Edre Goins at the ICM, virtually in Finland. So I do actually concur with you about that conference. But we do have, let's say, Jordan will be actually doing a presentation tomorrow. So to get this gentleman to network with the mathematicians that you have over in America, that'd be a great thing.
So just a question. So when you were going through the history of NAM, I think what was sort of, I guess, important was the recognition of excellence, right, from Black mathematicians, and in the form of prizes. So I mean, is there something in the making of like a new prize for Black mathematicians, in the celebration of the 100 years of Cox? Or I mean, because even here, I mean, it could be something that we could think about, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, to answer that question directly, yes, I didn't get a chance to show a portrait of Cox that I commissioned from an artist who actually did a pencil sketching of him when he was a young student at Indiana University. It's a fabulous piece of artwork, and we want to use that to leverage and find some donors who might be willing to purchase that piece of art on behalf of the family or Howard University, to support the scholarship of Cox, or Indiana University, or Cornell University. And those funds, part of those funds will be used to continue the legacy of Cox by endowing our signature programs. So that is one thing that we're trying to focus on in terms of continuing Cox's legacy. So yes, let's join forces and continue the legacy and expand our reach as we bring more mathematicians who aren't necessarily always given their recognition and not always invited still today in some particular aspects of the math community.
And I want to say in particular, we're interested in assisting anyone, anywhere in the world, who would like to do excellence in mathematics, especially persons who are mathematicians of the African diaspora, because we understand the challenges they've gone through and opportunities they've missed in the past, and we want that to be eradicated. And in any way we can help you, we're willing to do it. And this is why we're expanding NAM's archives and other material so that you can know as much as we know and can get to as many things as we get to.
No, excellent. I mean, this is fantastic approach. So I think maybe just a clarification. So so you mentioned the African diaspora, and I guess so in the language across seas. So I guess it's inclusive to I guess Black British people, maybe from the Caribbean, because I guess Sonara's wearing the Jamaican flag. I'm also half Jamaican. So I guess it's all encompassing, right, of people who identify as being Black.
There are no boundaries for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I knew it, but it was just good to.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
So one of the things that we can do is that certainly we have most of our talks, because we've been doing the Black Heroes of Mathematics since 2020. This is our sixth conference, and it's interesting that yours NAM got started. One of the inspirations of NAM got started through the assassination of Martin Luther King. We got started because of what happened with George Floyd, and a number of the mathematical societies here in the UK wanted to do something that would sustain, which was something to sustain. Yes, they came up with this "We Stand With Black People" message, but they're saying they wanted something to sustain. Henceforth, why we've developed this conference called the Black Heroes of Mathematics. And one of the things that we can do is that we have a lot of recordings of our previous talk, of our mathematicians, of our mathematicians around the world. So that is something, again, we can actually look to share with you.
Dr. Nkwanta? Yes, we can.
Yep, excellent.
Oh, yes.
Well, we can actually talk about and investigate that. So another thing is that you talked about education, and because one of the things that we did start it off with is that our original vision was to highlight those inspirational Black role models in the field of mathematics. But in our second year, we decided to expand it to say mathematics and mathematical education, because we recognise that actually, if we don't capture the children in school, sometimes by the time we're talking about college and university, it's too late. And especially in this conference, in this conference, we've actually expanded it even further, where we've gone to primary school children's age, which is the age of primary school for 7-year-old. I know that you have a different system over there in America. I don't know, K2, K3, but 7-year-old. So we've even put on talks aimed at for junior school, 7-year-olds over here. So in terms of NAM, what do you do in terms of actually targeting those, let's say, 7- and 8-year-olds? Because sometimes if you don't capture at that age, by the time they're 10, 11, sometimes it's too late. So what does NAM do in terms of that?
So I will say we have primarily focused on undergraduates, but we have Dr. Cox's grandson is putting together a foundation to address the K through K6 students, because that is an important range, and we are definitely open to partnering with his organization, because we do not have that particular component. We're also working on the graduate component of NAM as well. So yes, that could be something that we could actually link together as well. I mean, who knows that these things require some funding and a lot of hard work. And I think if we put all our forces together, all of our people who are committed, all of the people generally who want to support these kinds of things, that we can make these things happen. And again, to continue the legacy. One of the speakers early on talked about having a choice and making the decision to reach forward and make a change and do something and be the first. So let's be the first organizations that, collaborate across the big Atlantic mathematically, and 100 years from now, we'll be doing, those mathematicians will be talking about this signature meeting that we had today.
Absolutely. And I know that the person that you actually referred to is Elbert Cox. And we actually did have him here as part of our conference. And
oh, great.
We had him actually speaking. He was actually speaking to 10,000 pupils from the United Kingdom, so age 7 up to about 13. And well, he can tell you what the response was, but they were really enthusiastic to hear about his grandfather, and of course they're enthusiastic to hear about somebody who worked for NASA. And I think one of the questions was, "Have you ever been in space?"
That's a good question.
So maybe just so this is obviously great, right? This connection and talking about future collaboration, which definitely echo Asamoah's enthusiasm. So just more so, I guess, back to mathematics. So we didn't really hear much about sort of what you both are interested in, have been interested in mathematically in your careers. So if you could briefly maybe tell us about sort of what your mathematical interests have been or are still happening.
Do you want me to go first, Dr. Houston?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trained in combinatorics, enumerative and algebraic combinatorics, and I work with a matrix group that has a lot of combinatorial applications and a lot of algebraic connections. And one connection is to molecular biology, where I discovered this combinatorial array that connects to RNA secondary structures. So out of all of the math talks I give, that is the talk that draws the most interest. And so that's one of my favorite areas. I have produced 2 PhD students in this area at Morgan State, and I currently have 5 students right now. And someone had asked about scholarships in the US for students from Africa and other places at HBCUs. Well, we don't have the scholarships, but we do have a partnership with the TEP Fund of Nigeria. And many Nigerian students are pursuing PhDs at Morgan State, and their government funds them. And we provide teaching assistantships to kind of support some of their expenses as well. So there is some collaboration at some of the HBCUs. Howard is doing things as well. I'm a graduate of Howard University. I got my PhD from there. And Ed Ray Goins gave a beautiful talk on Cox's mathematics on Saturday. If you can get him to give you all that talk. And an interesting thing about that talk is it connects to an area of math that's related to the arrays that I work on. And the arrays that I work on were originated at Howard University. So maybe somewhere in the spirit of Cox, his dissertation was kind of moving around in who knows what atmosphere. And the faculty at Howard that started this research on rearing arrays, there's a connection to Cox's work as well.
Great.
So that's sort of, and I do a little bit of math, history, and education as well. I've written some articles on Benjamin Banneker and the cicadas, and also on the history of African Americans in the Math Association of America.
Excellent.
Okay. I've had the privilege to, as I said, my first person who had earned a Black PhD degree that I had an opportunity to relate to as a mathematician. He was the first person who got a PhD from Berkeley, first Black person. His name was Lloyd K. Williams. And he interested me in topology at the beginning. And I did a thesis in topology under him. And then I took a year of study abroad at l'Université de Strasbourg. J'ai fait des études de mathématiques dans l'Université de Strasbourg pour une année. And it was a grand stage because I got a chance to meet with some of the great minds of Europe, especially in France, who were members of a group called the Société du Bourbaki.
Nicholas.
Bourbaki. And so topology I did for quite a while until I ran into computer science. And computational science caught my eye because I could easily get people to see how to do this. and how to be able to come up with the thought process and the algorithms, and the machine would do the rest of the problem. And so I ran an institute in computational science for 10 years, and I was the first one to do one in a HBCU, and one of the first 3 in the state of North Carolina, and they had great universities there. And so I've been doing work in computational science, algebra, and I've been doing work with, we had a lot of stuff we did in geometry crossing over with the computational science and the topology, and we end up now looking at fractals. And in fact, I gave a talk at Purdue University in 2023 on fractals, and they have now named an annual lecture series in mathematics in my name at Purdue University, and they have 50,000 students at that university. And so the whole idea is people telling me my computational science should have gone ahead and been data science first. I told them they're the same thing. It's just depending upon how you look at things. But the mathematics must be included. And I've done a lot of things in the history of mathematics, and I've done a lot of things in the modeling theory. So I moved around in different areas in mathematics, and I've had the privilege of giving talks in at least 25 different countries abroad and all over the United States. And I enjoy doing it when I can show them that mathematics can help you understand the world.
Wow. That's a great point to potentially end on, or
I just want to say thank you very much indeed for reaching out. Yes, and it's been it's a great honour to have NAM at this conference. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you stated that first and foremost we recognise that Elbert Cox is an African and American. And I know what he did was in America in 1925. It was segregation, hot point of the Ku Klux Klan where he was living. And I know for it means so much to the Americans. But we recognise that. But we also want to recognise what it means to Black mathematicians all around the world. Yeah, Black mathematicians all around the world. So we recognise that yes, he's African and American and what it meant, but also we recognise that what it means to Black mathematicians all around the world. So for you reaching out, it was a great honour for us, and because we want to actually to celebrate Elbert Cox with you, and side by side with you. And we just want to say thank you very much indeed for your presentation. Thank you very much indeed for the information. We will be talking again very much so in the near future, because I don't want it to be a case of we come together and say Elbert Cox and you go that way and we go that way. No, let's make this let's make this a collaboration. Let's make this a collaboration moving forward, because I don't want this anniversary just to be a one-off and everybody's just moving in a different direction. Let this be a time where Elbert Cox centennial, is where Black mathematicians around the world all come together. That'll be a great start, I'd say.
Well, we thank you for the great work that you're doing, and we thank you graciously for inviting us to be a part of it in 2025. Keep up the good work, and we will always be open and ready to join you whenever we find it feasible.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. And
Thank you.
let's give a round of applause. Yeah.
Yes.